Okay guys, welcome to this week's podcast, and I'm absolutely delighted to tell you that we're doing a podcast from inside the gym as restrictions have been lifted. And my guest, I'm absolutely honoured to have him here. He's an impressionist, he's a comedian, he's a podcaster, he's an all-round good guy. It's Mr. Al Foran.
This is the Ger Conroy Fitness Podcast. For more, see gerconroy.ie.
Al Foran, welcome to the Ger Conroy Fitness Podcast.
Pleasure, pal.
Thank you very much for coming. I really do appreciate it, Al.
Oh, well, we did have an issue, didn't we? The location that you sent me was the original location, the first gym, and that's where I was, waiting outside. Yeah. Is it outside the butchers? He said, the butchers?
Yeah, waiting outside. But anyway, you then went to the one that I sent you, so we got you here eventually. So honestly, thank you very much for coming today. I really do appreciate it.
Honestly, my pleasure, Jer.
This is now the 10th podcast I've done, but it's the actual first one we've done inside the gym because we've had restrictions. We couldn't have anybody in the gym. And obviously restrictions are lifted now, so we're delighted to be able to get in the gym and do a podcast. But I'm really, really delighted that it's yourself that's here for the very first one in the gym as well, you know.
Listen, there's nothing better than, you know, a live podcast, you know what I mean? Yeah. Where it's, you know, it's real and it's authentic. Like, obviously, I've had my podcast going the last year now, and it's all been through Zoom. Yeah. Every single bit of it has been through Zoom, so it's kind of, it's not ideal. Yeah. You know.
But look, you're able to do podcasts with people in different countries. Like I see you have obviously certain people on, Tony Bellew, Paddy McGuinness, there's some really good ones, Ariel Hawani as well. Like, them, like, you know, so
a lot of people from the MMA and boxing community.
Michael Bisman as well. I was saying that, like.
Yeah, he was great, yeah.
Come here, we'll get into all that as well, but I suppose just everybody knows you from your impressions, and look, they're unbelievable, like they're really good, and it's not just the sound, it's your facial expressions, so your eyes, the eyebrows, the jaw, everything just goes, and it's really, really good. And I heard on one of your podcasts they were referring to you as the GOAT, and it is the truth. I don't think anybody else can stand beside you when it comes to that.
No, listen, there's a lot of GOATs out there, in my opinion. There's just some unbelievable impressionists. That's a brilliant compliment. I think some of the best compliments I ever get is when people think that it's actually a dub of the actual person. Yeah, in the content. I think that's, you know, they're pretty much saying that I'm crap, you know, and I'm actually not. It's me doing the voice. That's the best. That's the best kind of compliment. Yeah. But there's so many other impressionists out there who are just unbelievable. You know, it's become a kind of area in comedy that's kind of, you know, everyone in that area has elevated their game in the last, say, 5-10 years. Yeah. You know, because I think it started off with Mike Yarwood in the 70s on the BBC, and then it kind of just went to the likes of Alistair McGowan, and then we had our very own. We had Mario and Oliver here, you know, who I would have grown up listening to, and après match, of course, Richard Cooper, Barry Murphy, and Gary Cook. So, like, it just, you know, there's been some fantastic impressionists over the years, but there's a new kind of school of impressionists. I mean, even female impressionists as well. Like, you have Darren Garrihy here very good. As well. You have a girl called Steph Todd in the UK. You should check her out. She's unbelievable. Like, some of the she does like the whole Kardashian family. Brilliant. And it's just like pure spot on. And then you have the likes of Schaefer Bates and Conor Moore. You know, it's just it's such a really it's a saturated game, and there's a lot of us around.
And look, social media obviously helps you get out there as well. But tell me, how did you get to that point? Like, obviously, social media really helps you get your name out there as well. But tell me a bit about yourself and how it led to where you are today.
I suppose how it all started was, and I'm pretty sure, you know, any other impressionist would tell you, you know, they started impersonating family members. You know, that's how it all starts. I mean, I was impersonating aunties, uncles, cousins at the family weddings or family birthdays. You know, that was my thing. I'd get up and, like, I'd grab a mic and I'd be impersonating them. And then eventually, you know, movies, I watched too much films as a kid, I still do. So that's where all the likes of the Pacino and the Mark Wahlberg impressions kind of came from. That's where that stemmed from. And then football, of course. You I watched football my whole life, and Fergie was one of my first impressions, Sir Alex Ferguson, so.
You're a big Man United supporter, aren't you?
Yeah.
I see the expression in your face when you had to admit that, but I am as well, unfortunately. But look, we'll get there. We'll get there.
No, we'll get there. I think I kind of overdo it a little bit about Man United on my social media, and people get really annoyed, And then I put up a bit of content, and I'm back on side of them,
Side, yeah. No, well, look, that's because you're a Man United supporter. It's not the Man United fans that'll be giving you a bit of stick. Obviously, maybe Liverpool, City, Chelsea, something like that.
Yeah. Lots of Liverpool fans. Lots of Dublin-based Liverpool fans love giving me a bit of stick, but it's all banter.
And tell me then, when you kind of stopped doing family, well, you're probably still doing it, but family members, and you're looking at movies then, when did you first kind of go, I suppose, public with it?
I mean, what was it, 11 years ago now, I did my first ever gig in Portmarnock, where I'm from. I did it in front of 150 people.
Very good.
Yeah, and I knew all of those people. I went to school with some of them, and they were parents of mates of mine as well. So it was kind of a community thing. They all kind of
daunting probably than doing it in front of strangers.
It was fairly daunting. Yeah, I was green as hell. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I mean, I had my material was pretty much all wrapped up 25 minutes into the gig. And then I just riffed for another hour. So I was around an hour and 25 on stage, impersonating people from school, family members again, and just randomly just going with it.
And I suppose because you knew all them and they obviously knew you, when you're impersonating people that are probably in the crowd or family members of people that are in the crowd, it's relatable to them. So that's obviously why it's so funny then as well.
Yeah.
Probably not to the person who you're impersonating, but everybody else.
And I mean, how that gig came about as well was I did a couple of videos. I think it was one of the mornings. One of the lads, one of my mates, he had a free gaff, and we were all in. I think it was like Tomangos the night before.
Yeah.
And, I came around. I said, I think I was I out the night before? I was, but I took it easy, because I knew I had to record these videos the next day. And I remember coming around and, the camcorder, they had the little camcorder out, and they were just filming me for the whole day. It was just mad. There. It was no problem at all. Yeah.
And when you did that then in Portmarnock, that just gave you a bit more confidence, and then did you start just going onto social media then with it? Or?
No, I thought that was it. I thought, this is it.
Really?
I'm gonna shoot to the moon.
Very good.
I mean, this is when I was 18. So I had my leaving cert a couple of months before this gig, and the gig was the focus, not the leaving cert, because the course that I did was film production, and I didn't really need that much points, so I didn't really, apply myself in sixth year too much. So the focus was the gig and the comedy. It ended up going pretty quiet for a while. For a couple of years, I'd say. I'd do the odd video here and there, but it'll go viral in the likes of Malahide and Portmarnock. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's how far it would reach. I mean, I'd try and send videos to the likes of RTE, Today FM, FM 104, all the radio stations, to see if they'd pick it up. I targeted the likes of FM 104, 98 FM, Spin 103.8, Q 102 even, like. So I mean, would you want to do kind of a Mario Rosenstock, Oliver Callan version with this young 18-year-old kid? So that was kind of me trying to find my way in. I did my course, finished it up. I went to Chicago in 2013 for my J1. It was one of the best trips ever. I remember doing a gig over there.
Did you?
Yeah, I remember doing a gig. I remember.
How long were you there for?
I was there for 3 months. I went with 7 other lads, and we were homeless for the first 10 days of the trip. Jesus. And that was the norm. Yeah. I think because there was a lot of groups. There was kind of mixed groups. There were groups of lads and there were groups of girls. So we'd go to this hardware store. I don't know if you've been to Chicago.
No.
If you've been to Chicago, it's Armitage on the Brown line, the Brown tram line in Chicago. It's a guy called Dan O'Donnell. He has a hardware store, and I think he has a construction company, but he's Irish American, and he's looked after all the J1 students. And we'd go there every day to try and look for accommodation, every single day. But the reason why it took so long is because, understandably so, you want the girls in accommodation first, get the girls in there, get the girl groups, and then the lads can kind of, the mixed groups and then the lad groups.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember carrying around my suitcases, you know, just carrying them around Chicago. And then I remember screaming on the street as Eddie Murphy, give us accommodation. I said, man, give us accommodation. Let us in. Give us man, please, let us stay in a little apartment, man. That'd be amazing. It was crazy. And we ended up getting accommodation in a 2-bedroom apartment, about 35 to 40 minutes away from the city. And it was just, but I look back at it now and it was an adventure. It really was. And my mother, she pretended to kind of be cool anytime I spoke to her in those 10 days.
She was a nervous wreck.
She was a bag of nerves, as was my best mate, who lives across the road from me. Beano's his name, Cian O'Connor. Like, the two of us were on the train. I think this was day 7, and we just broke into laughter. We just, what the fuck are we doing? So we've planned to go over here. We're thousands of miles away from home. Like, we've no accommodation. What the fuck are we doing?
It was mental. Lads, like, just going on holidays, no accommodation. You're going for 3 months, like, no accommodation, and we'll see what happens when we get there.
And do you know what? We weren't the only group. There was, you know, dozens of groups, of J1 groups in America, in the likes of San Francisco, Chicago, Huntington Beach, California, Boston, that would go to these cities and they wouldn't have any accommodation.
Crazy.
You know?
But look, that's part of the journey, I suppose.
It is, and they wouldn't take somebody Irish in because they caused a bit of trouble in previous years, parties and all that, you know.
Stop. So how did the gig come about then?
The gig, I think, who was that through? I worked in retail. Before that, I was working in retail in Ireland, so I got a job in Top Man. And I think it was a fella in Top Man. I do impressions all day for the staff and work, and they'd always tell me to do it to customers, but I would never do it. I should have. In hindsight, I should have. But he had a mate who owned a bar, who had an open mic night, and I went.
Brilliant.
I did about 15, 20 minutes of
How many was there?
impressions. Jesus, I'd say about 15 people.
Stop. Still though, you're getting up on
stage.
Still,
yeah.
I can only imagine, like, not a chance would have you up on stage and something like that. You know, you'd need some nerves.
Yeah, it was.
I suppose when you know you're good at it as well, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. No. At that time I was still kind of learning, but then I came back, and I had nothing going on for me. Absolutely nothing going on for me. I got a job in retail again. Working in diesel in the ILAC, and then I went to Tommy Hilfiger, just finding my way, I suppose. I didn't have a clue what to do because I thought the comedy career, there's nothing really going for that. I made a pilot, a pilot TV, like a pilot episode, webisode, sorry, with 2 of my mates from the film course. We thought it was going to be the next best thing. We learned a lot from it. We had some funny moments, but it was a direct rip off of The Office, and I was the David Brent. You know, it was just complete rip off. But we enjoyed it. We had a good time, and we did a premiere and everything as well, and it was enjoyable. But like that, I was just trying to find my way, and I thought, Jesus, where does my future lie?
Just learning your trade, really.
Yeah, because you know, I got my degree in film, but like, you know, it's not as if you finish up a film course, you get that degree. Oh, here you go. You're going to direct the next James Bond movie.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
Mean the calls just come in straight away. You still have to put the graft in and make sure you get the
It's all about graft. It really is. You know, and in some directors or actors' cases, it's really not about going to any kind of school. It's about having connections and, I suppose, being good at what you do. So like that, I just kind of saw Facebook as kind of a way, you know, maybe I'll attempt something on Facebook. Maybe I'll start uploading content on Facebook. And I did. I uploaded a few videos I think in 2014, maybe 2 or 3 before the end of the year. And then I remember McGregor came along.
Yeah.
And the interest, the peak interest in McGregor was just huge at that point.
Massive, wasn't it?
It was huge. 2015, he was going for the featherweight belt. You know, he was getting so many eyes on the UFC, and at the same time, Ronda Rousey was in the company.
Yeah.
So it was they were really entering a new stage. The UFC of kind of their company was being elevated, I suppose, with those two. And then I remember posting just a McGregor impression on Facebook, and it went viral.
Yeah.
And when I say it went viral around Dublin.
Yeah. Well, not just Malahide and Port
No,
Anymore,
it was
so now
was
you're getting
Dublin.
out there.
And you might find the impression it was absolutely abysmal compared to what it's like now.
Yeah, well, obviously you're only going to get better anyway. But
Oh, just it was.
if it went viral, it just goes to show how good it was back then as well.
Yeah, because people were just lapping anything up with McGregor at that
Yeah,
point. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They were just loving anything he said. You know, his press conferences. So I just kind of persisted with the impression, and then did a couple of more. I did one when Jose Aldo pulled out. I did
Yeah.
McGregor on the phone to Dana White and Mike Tyson, and that went viral. That kind of got to the UK and just kept going and going and going.
And that's the thing, like, and obviously you have the likes of his interviews, they were always very funny.
Yeah.
His press conferences, he's throwing bottles at Nate Diaz. But then
Yeah.
it's funny when it happens, but then when someone does an impression of him and they're actually very, very good at it, of course that's going to go viral. Like,
Yeah.
And you're on the ball, and like even now you're doing impressions of if something happens in the Europa League, Champions League final, whatever it may be. It's what's hot there and then.
Yeah.
And that's why people love it, but obviously it has to, the content and the quality has to be good as well, obviously. Which is
Yeah. But see, with that McGregor impression, it meant that the other impressions that I did, which was a fairly big repertoire, could kind of latch onto that rocket, and I could start showcasing those impressions.
Exactly.
Start showing the football ones, the actors, and then that's where all of that kind of came in.
And when you do these impressions of different people, like I know you've met a few people and done impressions in front of them. Like, have you done one in front of McGregor before?
Oh yeah, a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Where was that?
It was in Swords in the right venue. He was doing like this tour around Ireland after he beat Chad Mendes.
Oh, very good.
He did a thing it was during the day in the right venue. Then he did one down in Cork, and so many people showed up.
And what did he think?
He laughed. He said, you do a good Mike Tyson, but you don't do a good me. And, those were his words then, and it was pretty crazy, yeah.
And like you did Tyson Fury, and you did an impression of Tyson Fury in front of him as well, yeah.
Yeah, Tyson's great.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, I think I was just a bit over the quarter of his size in height. He is huge. Yeah. He is. I think he's 6'9".
6'9". Yeah. Where did you meet him?
That was 2 years ago. I met him in Nottingham and Birmingham.
Very good.
It was two nights. He did kind of a dinner thing, a speaker dinner, but that was crazy. And I was talking to him for a good, I'd say, hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, good hour and 20 minutes. Like,
very good.
Talking to him.
A lot of time for everybody, had he?
I was talking to Big John, his dad.
Yeah.
He had so much time because a couple of days before that, my daughter was born, and his son was born the same week.
Very good
as well. So he was kind of, I think he at that point that was his fifth. So he was giving me a bit of parenting advice, but he was just a lovely fella. We were talking about United as well. He's a big United fan.
Big United fan as well.
But great guy, Tyson Fury.
Very good. What did he say about the impression?
Oh, he liked it. Yeah, he liked it. He said he liked all the other ones as well. And then I was doing Pacino, and he said, I did. I was a good pal of Pacino. He said he wanted to come to one of the fights. He said you're very good. He said you're fantastic. So that's why when I saw you doing the Pacino, I thought of that. Great guy.
Very good. That's brilliant. Like, how does it feel to you? Like, I'm sure obviously it's a great confidence boost when like Tyson Fury says that it's very good, your impression of him.
It's a great confidence boost, yeah. Like, listen, I know McGregor says it's crap, but Do you know what I mean? But he says that in a joking way. It'd be boring if he said it was amazing all the time.
Course, yeah.
You know, because I know he likes the other ones. Because I did the Olympia Panto.
Yeah.
In the last live Olympia Panto, which was 2019, and his sister Erin was in it. But he came to one of the shows. I think he goes on Stephen's night. That's where he went. He went on Stephen's night the year before, and he had his little boy there and his daughter, and the whole family, the mum and dad. And I was doing like Woody from Toy Story, and Scooby Doo, and like the gingerbread man from Shrek, and I could hear him laughing. I could hear his laugh up in the thing. Do you know what I mean? I could hear his, you know. So he enjoys it.
But he did get on Conor. He did actually send you a tweet the other night, and I was looking and I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen here? So you tell me what happened. Go on.
Well, I mean, this all happened in the space of 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Steve Timothy, Farmer Michael, is organising a charity boxing event, and he'll be boxing Paddy Barnes on the night.
Yeah.
And McGregor had donated to the charities for the Irish Wheelchair Association. So McGregor had donated a couple of weeks, I'd say 2-3 weeks ago, and he'd retweeted it. And Steve-O announced it on Twitter, and McGregor then quoted that tweet and said, I'll fight this imposter in the co-main of the night. This guy's been doing terrible impressions of me for years.
Yeah.
And naturally I had to respond.
That's how
and accept the challenge. What the hell am I doing that for?
But that's how I seen it, because I'm looking on Instagram, and then I just see Conor McGregor challenge accepted, and I'm like, what's he talking about? So I press play, and there you are, impersonating Conor McGregor, accepting his challenge to a fight on the co-main event.
Yeah, and the whole thing was, in that video was, I'm just going to confuse you and be these different people during the whole fight.
What did you say to him in the video?
I did so many impressions, and that was kind of the key. So you're going to be fighting not just you, but Mike Tyson, Donald Trump, Katie Taylor.
Different people all the time, yeah. So, well, look, you're going to have to get trying and get ready for this fight with Conor McGregor.
Yeah, I know.
Like, people call Conor McGregor out, but only people in the UFC.
I mean, this is the great thing. The likes of Jake Paul, you see him.
They're all calling him out, but he's the one calling you out.
He's the one calling me out. It's fantastic. It really is. It well and truly is a red panty night for me, I suppose.
Yeah. You must be the only one that he's actually called out, rather than everyone else calling him out, huh? And when is the event?
I think that is. I think the last person he called out was Jose Aldo. Mayweather.
Mayweather. Well, look, Mayweather is different anyway.
Yeah, but the last person he called out was Floyd. From Floyd Mayweather to Al Foran.
Well, he did call out.
He did
call out Mayweather.
Yeah.
And Mayweather obviously beat him. Called out Al. So now Al Foran's going to beat him. There you go. I'm putting it on the table there. That's the way it's going down.
I don't think he knows that I have a pacemaker as well. Like I have an appointment with my cardiologist in a few weeks. I got to, usually I'd say to him, I'm going to Florida. Say in a few months, am I okay to go on the roller coaster? He'd say, yeah, no problem. He'll probably ask you, what do you need to ask me this time? Any questions? I'd be like, well,
I have a bit of a charity fight with Conor McGregor. What? The doctor will need a pacemaker after hearing this one. Oh, stuff. And tell me, like, when it comes to the pacemaker, actually, like, you have that since you were born, am I right?
Yeah. I was born with congenital heart block. This is my third one. So I got this fitted, what are we now? We're early June. I had this fitted on the 23rd of April.
23rd?
Yeah.
And does it affect you in any way?
Not really, no. Like working out, like I'm fine. My doctor does tell me to not bench press. Now I did bench press, before.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it has certain limitations. The worst limitation that I have is I actually have a plate in my left arm as well. So I have a plate here and the pacemaker here.
Jesus. Why do you have a plate here?
Oh, that's just a crazy story. Took a shortcut home. Mate who lives behind me, I'd hop over his wall, and my other mate who lives across the road from me, he fell off the wall. His fall looked far worse than mine.
Oh, jeez.
The tumble and everything, but he dragged me down with him.
No way.
Yeah, and it was in between the shed and the wall, and there was a mountain bike in the middle. And I landed on my feet. It looked fine, but the shoulder obviously hyperextended. Is that hyperextended, and the humerus, the ball, cracked.
Jesus.
So it was a fracture, and I was in hospital for a good week. That was 2013, so that was just before, about a month before I went to Chicago.
Jesus,
so
yeah.
McGregor, if you're listening to this, I only have like my right arm, my good arm, thankfully.
Just keep running around in circles. You'll be all right. Running around in circles. But, and like when you were growing up as well, like did the pacemaker play any kind of part in like how you were thinking about exercise or sports or anything like that? Did you play
Contact sports was a no-go.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the thing I'm doing. But listen, like, I mean, if I was doing contact sports consistently, then it would probably be an issue.
Yeah.
But a once off, you know, isn't too bad, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, rugby, boxing, any of that. But I don't know. It's weird. Like, I did taekwondo and I was fine with that, you know.
Yeah.
And I played Ga, you know. Yeah, I played Ga. And Ga can be, you know,
That's
be fairly
contact
rough.
sport.
Yeah, hurling I didn't play.
Yeah, yeah.
I played one game of hurling. I was like, no.
So animals play that.
Yeah.
Animals, fair play. And so they are though. Just
No,
animals,
they
like,
are
like,
unbelievably skillful.
yeah, and
You know?
it's like there's some injuries that come out of that as well.
Oh, major.
Yeah, yeah. Like, so tell me as well, like I know like obviously the pacemaker and obviously that will hinder what you can and can't do, and obviously now you're gonna have to get ready to run around in circles when you're fighting McGregor and try and avoid him and connect and move and connect and move. But tell me, like, what is, when you're doing all these impressions, like, is there one that you're rather doing over others, or is it just you like the whole list of people that you have?
Oh, no. There's definitely one. I mean, there's always a new one. A new one's always the best. Oh, there's some that I get absolutely sick of. Yeah. You know, if I'm in a crowded pub and someone asks me to do an impression, and when they ask me, like, do Morgan Freeman, I'm like, are you for fucking real?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking in my head. Are you for real? Like, nobody's going to hear that.
Yeah.
He has such a low voice.
That's what I wanted to ask as well. Like, when you're out and about, like, I'm sure people just approach you all the time and ask you to do this. And look, don't get me wrong, that's what got your name out there, and I'm sure you love doing them.
A few years ago, not as much now. I don't go out as much now because I have a 2-year-old, you know. So I'm happy in that sense. I go out once every few months.
Yeah.
You know, I think you get to that stage when the kid comes along, it's just...
Oh, there's priorities then.
The priorities completely change.
Oh, totally different.
No.
But when you are out, would it annoy you if people are coming over to you all the time?
No, not particularly. No. I mean, I've gone to gigs before and I've still managed to have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Because that's important. Like for example, if you see... If someone sees you and they're like, oh,
because
really
they're generally nice.
Over. Yeah, you want to go over and say hello and say, yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be harassing you and annoying you. Like, you need to enjoy your night as well.
Yeah, no, listen, do you know what? The key is they're the people that got you to that point.
Yeah.
And then I talk about the Morgan Freeman thing. That's me talking in my head, saying, are you fucking serious?
Yeah, of course.
Why would I do it? I'll do it with Morgan Freeman, no problem for you. But you'll be very disappointed because you won't be able to hear it.
Of course, yeah.
But at the end of the day, those are the people that get you to where you are.
Yeah, of course.
You know, so you have to be grateful back to them.
Always, yeah.
You really
always.
do.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because I'm going to ask you to do a few now in a few minutes.
Yeah,
but,
of course, yeah.
And is there, like, who would be your favourite one to do, or is it just once there's a new one, I love a new one? Is that the way it works?
Yeah, that's it really. I mean, what's the generally new one is it's an obscure one like Woody Harrelson. You know, man, you know the way he talks like that. He's got a real kind of laugh like that. I mean, he's one of my favorite actors, and to speak like him, I mean, I just love it, man. You know, so that one I love doing, or even Michael Douglas.
You know, the way I can change the voice like that. I really do appreciate him as an actor. I think he's great. But I have to be careful because these impressions that I'm doing, I mean, my demographic don't have a clue who they are.
They don't.
And when you're doing them, like, look, you're literally just talking there, and do you just say what you're thinking, or do you have, like, when you go on social media?
I say what I'm thinking. I don't know where that kind of came from and how I developed that skill, you could say.
That's a brilliant skill, though.
To kind of talk about anything. I that's kind of the aspect I enjoy about it.
I seen you did one, I think it was last week or the week before, and it's, I think maybe 11 or 12 celebrities in 1 minute.
In a minute, yeah.
And I watched it, and I watched it back again, and I was like, how, like, surely that's a script, like, how can you just be so good at that? And I'm like,
that's for TikTok, by the way.
Sorry?
That's solely for TikTok.
Yeah.
Now I'll put it up on the other channels.
Of course.
But TikTok has become the new Facebook.
Yeah.
In terms of you put anything up, and if that goes viral, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, and you can gain followers easily from it. It's growing rapidly, TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, and I think about a year ago, you know, people would have put their eyes up to heaven and said, Jesus, it's only for kids. It's really not.
Yeah.
That, like, TikTok is actually, I think it's taken over.
Yeah, because we've just actually, because again, we did think that before as well.
Yeah.
Like, but I was like, no, we need to get a TikTok. So we actually opened up one there recently as well.
Oh,
like,
it's great. I'm very fortunate. I'm a Renault Bellegarde ambassador.
Yeah.
But I'm on to them. I said, we need to get on TikTok as well. I mean, you know, because you're going to see many more mature brands come onto TikTok in the next year or so. I mean, all the football clubs are on it as well.
That's just the way the world is going.
It is,
as you said, Facebook, Instagram, obviously Twitter is there, but then these new things come out all the time, and obviously TikTok, and it's massive.
Well, Facebook is kind of, I don't know what the story is of Facebook, if it's gone or not. It's, you know, I don't really focus as much time into it anymore. I find it to be a very negative
and that's
space.
Exactly why, and I think Twitter as well is kind of getting a lot like that. Like, I just find that because, like, we're talking
Twitter's
about
very
football.
much like that.
Like, you look at football, and like only yesterday, England's squad was announced for the Euros, and Trent Alexander-Arnold, I'm a Man United fan, not Liverpool, but this fella's getting serious amount of stick before it was announced. Then it was announced and he's actually in the squad. Yeah. He's still getting stick.
Yeah.
But there's always just
so much negativity. Because he picked 4 right backs or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4 right backs. Yeah. And then Ireland played the last group of friendlies they had, the new keeper, I can't even remember his name, it was his debut, and he had a howler. But people online giving him absolute dog's abuse. Like, why would you go out of your way to go online and give someone dog's abuse?
It's horrible.
Because some people can just water off ducks back, but other people are going to sit there and let it.
I think people need to cut the Irish team some slack, big time.
Yeah.
Because what's going on behind the scenes is they're really trying to rebrand the image of the FAI. They're going through a major transitional period, which may last, you know, you're talking, could be a decade.
Yeah.
Could be a decade before we're actually competitive again. And because the damage that has been done, with you know, in the past and everything, it's severe. So people need to cut the likes of Stephen Kenny and his backroom staff a bit of slack. He's a great manager.
Yeah, I'm actually a big fan of Stephen Kenny's. Yeah,
I really like him too.
Yeah,
he's a great manager. What he did with Dundalk was fantastic.
That was phenomenal.
You know, that's just the way it is. We'll have a new identity in terms of our football, I think, as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and like, because he wants to have his own identity, as you said, of playing football, and it doesn't just happen overnight. Especially, it's not as if you can just go and buy players left, right, and centre. It's international, so you have to wait for players to come up and the whole background of it. And that's unfortunate that people don't see what's going on. Obviously, I don't see what's going on in the background, but you can kind of see the way he is trying to form a new identity as well. Yeah. But unfortunately, the world we're in, Ireland and every country, they just want results now. But we have to be realistic. We don't have the quality of England. We're not France. We're not Spain. We have to understand that we need to give it time.
You're one of the few that understand these things in football. You know, this is one of the key aspects in football. Patience.
But look at grassroots.
It's grassroots. But it's like that. We're like that with United.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? People expect us to, like, you know, boom, 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 let's win the league, win the Champions League, win the FA Cup. Do you know what I mean? These things take time. Van Gaal said it back in 2015 that it would take 5 years. I was baffled by it, but now I understand.
Yeah.
It is. It's. I don't care. Trust the process. If you get annoyed by that, so many people do.
Yeah.
Trust the process of what Ole is doing.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to ask you, because like I said, I'm a big Man United fan. I know you were, and I only knew you were from Twitter. You're always talking about it, but I actually like that. So I know you're saying you do get stick, but don't stop talking about them, because it's actually interesting. You do be putting up valid points as well. But you do think it's a process.
Some howlers as well.
But do you think Ollie's the man for the job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you want me to do, Ollie?
Go on. You might as well.
Of course. Well, we had a disappointing end to the season, but I hope it'll be fantastic come the start. Bring in some new recruitments, some fantastic players like Sancho, Rice, play him in that pivot with Fred or McTominay. And I do hope that we get the results, and the social media people calm down a little bit, because they're a bit too reactionary. They need to just relax a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Brilliant. And tell me, do you actually like Ollie because he is a legend at the club for what he done playing for us, or do you actually just think he's the right man?
I think he's the right man, and I think it's kind of it's a bubble that's waiting to burst with the football that they're going to play. It's a positive bubble that's just going to, and you know, once people kind of see how well they're playing next season, or I don't know, hopefully next season, with the likes of Sancho, a couple of new players, Greenwood developing his game, Cavani's still there, Bruno again leading the line, Maguire with a competent partner.
Yeah, well, look, it's
see a huge difference. I'm hearing Trippier as well. They're looking at him.
Seeing that last week,
I think he'd be a good signing with regards to, you know, being in good competition. For Wan-Bissaka.
But that's, I agree. But look, everybody's going to have an opinion on all football. United,
you have to
as
stop
well.
going 1-0 down, though. They have to stop waking up after going 1-0
It's
down.
not good for the pacemaker, is it? It's not good for the pacemaker. You want to find a different club for the next one. Oh, stop. But we've always been like that. But look, well, I like Ollie though as well. Look, I'm not an expert, obviously, but I liked him from the very first day, because it was how he held himself. And I know this sounds mad, but just to me, and I said it to my brothers, me two brothers are big Man United fans as well. I said how he held himself in the interviews that he was having.
Yeah.
And it was very much like he was Fergie's protege, you know. That's kind of the way it looked. And obviously he played for Fergie for so many years, but we're always saying, oh, we want the next Fergie, we want this, we want that. Yeah, we've tried Van Gaal. Now look, we've tried Mourinho, obviously Moyes, and I know they weren't backed in certain ways. Like
Mourinho was never going to be the next Fergie. My view of Mourinho when he came in was, this is unbelievable, but he'll win the league with us or something, and he'll leave.
Yeah, well, that's
what
we
I
all
thought. Yeah.
Go on, give me a Mourinho. Why didn't it work?
I don't know. I said to a lot of people that my greatest achievement was finishing second with that team. They were on no balance whatsoever. I think that the football they played was atrocious. They were very bad. What was I supposed to do? I think their training was awful. Their diet was crap. Not good. It was a blessing. It was a blessing that I finished second with that team. I think so.
And the Europa League?
And Europa League, okay. Season before, I finished sixth. But win Carling Cup and Europa League, all because of Zlatan. I think it was Zlatan. Okay. That is my opinion.
Brilliant.
It is never my fault when I go to different club. They think that I come in and I stink the place up by the end of it, and I walk out with, 15 to 20 million severance package? Okay, big money, fantastic, I like it, but I don't think so. It's the club. It's the way it's run.
Brilliant. And tell me, like, when Ollie is there, this is just what I thought then, he's doing interviews and he sounds very much like Fergie, and even how he doesn't come out and talk bad about the players. So when Fergie was managing, United have a stinker of a game, and you'd want him to come out and just slate somebody and say it was the defence's fault, we should have scored. and he never did.
Oh, he never did.
Yeah, and then Van Gaal
He'd give it to them
things.
in private, though. He really would.
Yeah, but obviously we didn't know that
Give
until later.
give them a piece of his mind in private,
the
big time.
hairdryer, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Ole does that, but he keeps it. It's seriously kept under wraps.
Yeah, it's you can hear one or two of the lads were saying on, like I was watching BT Sport as well and Sky Sports, and they were saying like that it's not all like that behind closed doors. He is a bit different. He is more strict, but obviously that's kind of like the Fergie mould. Like Mourinho was coming out and slating players, Van Gaal was, but that's what I like about him. I like that he's kind of doing things the United way.
Well, apparently everything behind the scenes was just toxic as hell when when it came to the end of Mourinho's time. It was just. He just wasn't happy.
Seems to happen everywhere though.
His mood really affected everyone.
Yeah,
all
Isn't
the
that
staff.
strange though? Because he is. Look, you can't doubt it. He's a quality coach. He wins nearly. I'm gonna say everywhere he goes, but he didn't win at Spurs, I suppose.
But has he been at a club longer than 5 years?
That's the thing.
No.
And that's what you thought he was gonna come in, win the league, and leg it.
That's what I thought. I thought this is great. He, in the back of my mind, he'll go if he wins the league. Yeah. That was my thoughts.
So are we gonna win the league soon?
I hope so. I hope we can really mount a challenge next season. I said it last season.
What do we need to mount the challenge? It looks like Sancho is done, but it
You
did
need
last
to get
year
Sancho
as well.
in.
So.
You need that bit of creativity.
Okay, so
on
Sancho,
the right.
who else?
I think you need a Declan Rice in there and a centre half as well. Whether it be Varane or your man Torres off Villarreal,
Torres,
you'll need a centre half who's competent on the ball, good positioning, and not weak.
Yeah.
Because Lindelof has just been thrown off
Stop.
the ball so many times this season. I think he's good, Lindelof. I watch him sometimes and I think, Jesus, why is he not playing as a holding midfielder as opposed to a centre back?
I'm glad to hear you saying that, like those three positions, because I think, and again, I'm not a bloody expert, but I think we need that. Let's hope they think we need it. Let's hope they go and bloody get it.
Keep Cavani there and go for a Haaland the season after. That's the way. That's the strategy they should.
We're not up there and at least challenging for the league next year. Can't imagine them coming to us though.
You have to look at City next year. Like Pep will want to prove a point after
not winning that Champions League.
Yeah.
Harry Kane goes to them, we're in trouble.
Yeah, it could be the case, but now I think they're looking at Conte. Spurs are.
Oh, are they?
And that could be a way of keeping Harry Kane at the club because he is a
winner as well.
Man. He's a winner through and through.
So tell me, let's get on to, obviously we're in a gym here. Talk to me about fitness.
Yeah, well look, listen. I'm not the whole package, but no,
you do training.
Yeah, I trained. I don't know if you know Stephen Tierney. I trained with him years ago.
Very good, yeah.
And I've kind of continued. I went back with him last year, and it was the first time I kind of trained ever.
Yeah.
In the gym, and I lost a ton of weight, and I just felt like $1 million. I felt fantastic.
Yeah.
Listen, there's nothing better than it, honestly.
How do you feel it benefits you? Like you said, you lost weight and you
Up
felt
there.
in the mind. Yes, I love that.
It's all up there. The feeling of that. It's an unbelievable feeling of gratification.
Yeah.
When you finish up a session in the gym, it's hell throughout.
Yeah.
I mean, can I mention Stevens?
Yeah.
You were mentioning earlier on saying like it's hell. The boxing, it's hell. It's this and that, and it is. It's hell. But Jesus Christ, once you get to that finish line, and after you're heavily breathing, but you feel great. You get into your car and you feel fantastic going home. Yeah, it's that kind of feeling about the gym that I love.
Euphoric feeling, like So that's what I always say to people. Oh, but yeah, I heard it's going to be a terrible year, but I'm going to love it afterwards, and that kind of stops people going to the gym. I don't really want to have a tough 40 minutes, 45 minutes just to have this feeling you're talking about, because when you don't know what that feeling is, but when people actually get to the gym, and look, it's not about torturing people, you just come in and you go at your own pace.
That's exactly, and that's probably what you do. You kind of bring them in and ease them in slowly at their own pace. Yeah, of course. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, they might not realise it, but it's actually 10 times harder than what it was when they first came in.
Exactly.
And it's no bother to them. You know?
Like, this is the thing. I always say, look, we'll just go at your pace. And no matter who it is, they always say, oh, but I'm really unfit. And I'll be like, that's fine. You haven't exercised in so long.
Yeah.
So look at now. We're opening now, and COVID.
That's great.
COVID is at the being there. Most people haven't been exercising, and if they have, they've just been doing little bits at home or going for walks or runs or whatever.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is everyone's fitness level is just really low at the minute. That's fine. If you're, let's say, from a scale 1 to 10, and somebody is a level 1, it doesn't matter. Your program is going to be a level 1.
Yeah.
It can't be too easy, because you won't get results, you won't feel any different, so physically or mentally. But it can't be even a level 2, because if it's level 2 and you're only at level 1, well, then it's too hard for you.
Yeah.
And you physically won't be able to do it. And if you're pushed, and obviously a good trainer won't do that, but obviously some people might do that. But if you're pushed, you're not going to enjoy it. Therefore, you won't come back. So I always say to people, whether you're level 1, we'll do a program level 1. If you're level 5, we'll do a program based at level 5. We'll never do below, because it'll be too easy, but we never do above. We just go at your pace.
Yeah.
But like you said there, if someone is level 1, and then next week they're like, oh, well, I'm doing more this week, or next month, whatever it may be. I'm doing more now, but I'm still as tired as I was. Yeah, but your level is actually level 3 now. It's level 5 now. So yeah, we're able to do more, or the intensity is higher. But I'm not going to level 6 because we're not there yet.
Yeah.
So that's what people need to understand. They need to understand that we're going at their pace.
Yeah.
But like you said, they don't understand the feeling you get from it. Like the endorphins in the body, like go around the body, and the feeling you get from it. And like you said, you get into the car and you're just buzzing.
Yeah.
Tell me, when you exercise, because I know when I exercise, I'm just sharper, think sharper, sleep better, everything.
Yeah.
Like, you're running the gyms and you're able to notice things a hell of a lot quicker. And be more productive when you're training. Do you find that you perform better, whether it be on stage or whatever, when you're training?
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100% actually. That's a dead cert, I do.
Yeah.
And that's why, as you're saying, with the gyms opening again, they better not close again.
Yeah.
Because,
Oh,
no, for people's mental health.
Yeah.
You know, they need to stay open in some form, and some form of social distancing, but we're getting there now. Obviously half the country is vaccinated. I think, I'm fully vaccinated.
Excellent.
So I'm delighted, so I'm just ready to go. I'm getting married next year, man.
Excellent.
So I want to just get in and just no
Get
nonsense.
back to normal.
Just get in and get back to normal.
And tell me, you mentioned you're getting married. Tell me, you have obviously you're engaged.
Yeah.
You have 2 kids.
No, I've one.
Oh, one.
Just the one, yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Sophia, she's 2.
Yeah.
She's just...
How do you find that?
It's amazing. It just, it's killing me seeing her getting so big.
Yeah.
But she's just become this little character. I bring her around shopping centres or supermarkets. She says hi to everyone.
Brilliant.
She's just hi. She just wants to strike up a conversation with everyone. It's just great. And Alison's a teacher, so she's kind of Alison kind of knows the different ways, and Alison does colouring with her and numbers and her ABCs and all that. So she loves that. Anytime you read her a book, she finishes the sentence as well.
No way.
Of each page. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I can relate to that. I have 2 daughters, and exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like they.
How old?
I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. It's
real.
both girls, and then I have a 4-month-old boy. So, but the girls, they're exactly like that. You're reading them a story. Even if I'm not reading them a story, even if I'm just talking to them, they'll finish everything for me. It's bananas. Like, it's crazy.
Great, yeah.
And how did you find it being at home, lockdown with the family? Because I'm sure you're a busy man. Like, you don't get to stay at home a lot.
Well, currently, like, I have to kind of juggle, minding the baby. Yeah. Not the baby, minding Sophia. She's not a baby anymore, really. I mind her Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Yeah. But see, Alison gets home at around 3 o'clock. Yeah. So then I can kind of get to it and do my work.
Of course.
So we've been doing that just this year. While Alison is in work. Next year she's gonna put her in a creche.
Very good.
From Monday to Friday.
Did you find that, like, obviously?
So she goes to her grandparents on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Oh, well, that's good that you have that support as well.
We're so lucky. We're blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Like I found being in lockdown, look, we don't want the gyms to be closed. It's not good.
Yeah.
So, but look, the way you have to look at it is I'm a positive person. I always try and take the positives out of everything. As such a bad 15 months it's been, I got to stay at home with my wife Sheila. I have the 2 girls, and then I was there able to help Sheila while she's pregnant, and then when Jordan was born as well. Like you do appreciate that.
Yeah, big time, man. It's the best thing in the world.
Yeah,
it
isn't
honestly is. That bit of family time, it's great. Like,
I remember when Hannah, my oldest daughter, she was born, I remember somebody commented, I put a picture of her up on Facebook, I think it was, and somebody commented, said, congratulations, you now have the best job in the world.
Yeah.
As a father.
Yeah.
And there's no truer statement than that. Like, it really is the best job. Don't get me wrong. And I've always said this to Sheila over the years, because she's obviously at home minding the kids, and she does work with us as well, doing bits, but I always say to her, I don't know how you do it, staying at home, like, most of the day, let's say, because it is tough, and it's great to be able to do all these things with the kids.
Yeah.
But it is a tough job, and I've said it to her over the years, but in the last 15 months, like, I'm
you
ready.
kind of you realise,
I'm ready
just
to run
how
out the door, like, you know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. And as you said, the best job in the world. I mean, obviously, before you had your first, I'm sure somebody told you you're going to have the best moment of your life as well.
Yeah.
And it is. You've had 3 of the best moments of your life so far. But like when my daughter was born, I mean, I'm not afraid. I was at floods of tears.
Yeah,
You know what I mean, more so than Alice, and I was just a mess.
Because
you
you're a
know?
little girl, daddy's little girl now.
Best. It was just the best. It is. It's the best moment of your life,
Isn't it?
100%.
Yeah.
You know.
Brilliant. And tell me about the wedding then. Like, you're getting married next year. I know a lot of people that were due to get married this year and actually last year and had to postpone them.
Yeah.
Did you have to postpone it, or was it just set for next year?
No, we've set it for next year. We got engaged in October.
Excellent. Congratulations as well.
Thank you. October 2020 we got engaged, and we just put down the date for the 9th of July.
Brilliant.
2022. So we've got I'd be lost without Alison with regards to her organising it. Like, you know, teachers are just unbelievable. She's got fucking everything, you know, musician, bands, cakes, everything. Just it's all there, and I'm just sort that out. You know, it's just great, you know.
That's fantastic. You're just gonna turn up, say I do, and leg it.
I know there's a few bits. Like, I'm in charge of the entertainment. I am not the entertainment. We get someone. We want to get a comedian or something like that that I'd know well that can take the mick out of me, you know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, well, look, you have to be able to do it. You have to be able to take the mick out of yourself as well. Like, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
And tell me, what's the plan then going forward? Because obviously restrictions are being lifted. So what's on the horizon for Al Foran?
Well, there's a couple of gigs coming up now. I'm back to gigs. I'm back to gigs in the UK. Couple of gigs. I've a gig abroad in Portugal as well in September. So they're all coming back thick and fast. So I think, you know, come towards the end of the year as well, there's a couple of them. So yeah, it's great, and I have my podcast as well.
Yeah.
So
Al Foran podcast.
Yeah, we want to continue on with that. Yeah.
Is there anything that you enjoy more? Do you
fighting
enjoy
Conor McGregor as well?
Conor, like, that's. You're a busy man. You won't have time to train for this. You're a busy man. But tell me, is there anything you enjoy more? Do you enjoy the podcasting more? Do you enjoy like live stand-up more? Like, what do you enjoy?
Oh, I missed the live gigs.
Yeah,
I
interacting with people.
100% missed them.
Yeah.
They're just the best. It's the best feeling in the world. You know, it really is. You just have so much crack. You know, and I'm sure people are going to be amped up for it. They're going to be buzzing.
Yeah, because they just miss it so much.
I could put in the worst performance and they'd still love it. Hopefully.
Hopefully. No, but look, that's the thing. It's the same as everything. We're at to being deprived of everything so much over the last 15 months.
Yeah.
People, like, I'm looking forward to being able to go to the pub, and I don't really drink a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I want to it's not to go and drink as such. It's just to go and meet up with friends and go for a meal and stuff like that. Like, I just want to kind of get out and socialise now.
Absolutely.
And go to gigs, you know, like go to concert, go to stand-up gigs, wherever it may be, and just enjoy it. Get out and enjoy life again.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, I mean, I don't know about gigs this year, but I think next year.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at Slane, whoever's playing Slane, I don't care.
You just
I know people say it's a pain in the arse getting in and coming out of Slane, but luckily I have a family member, a cousin who lives there, So we're sorted. We go back to her house and we have the crack.
But even at that, people who are going to complain about it, you're going to complain this year, you're sitting at home, so don't complain about it next year. That's the way to look at it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Well, listen, before you go, give me like you did a minute of impersonations. Give me a minute or two. Give me a list of people.
Okay, I'll just go. I'll just riff.
Just go for it, yeah.
Well, you know what? I may as well start off with the greatest president that ever lived. A really fantastic guy. He did a really great job, and it was stolen from him. He was cheated out of his second term, and it was really bad. But he was cheated out of it by a guy who was very much like this.
First of all, I want to say the American people to wear a mask. It's very simple. Americans need to get out there and wear a mask. Robert De Niro, I wasn't a fan of Donald Trump. I thought he was an idiot. I thought he was a mutt.
Joe Pesci wasn't a big fan either, He was a fucking mutt, let me tell you. We're okay to swear, aren't we? We're all right to fuck. Are we okay? Are you going to answer me? Come on. What are you, silent? What the fuck's wrong with you? Come on, answer me.
Say what you want, Joe.
Well, I'll tell you. See, when I'm doing the three, I do De Niro, Pesci, and Pacino. Hoo-ha! The gyms are back open. You gotta get in. Hoo-ha! Yes! Have you got the treadmills? You got what are they called? The little things you push.
Prowlers.
The prowlers.
We got the prowlers.
They're fucking tough.
We got the ski eggs. We got the assault bikes. We have it all.
All right. You get someone like Mark Wahlberg in here too. Yeah, it's really great. And the way he does a really, his workouts are really tough. Okay? He wakes up at like 3 a.m. in the morning. Okay? He's working out until maybe 11 a.m. Okay? Non-stop. All right?
Man, well, of course, we may as well do some Mike Tyson, Now I'm looking at all these YouTube boxers, man. I don't know what Floyd Mayweather is doing fighting that Logan Paul. What I'm doing is, I'm trying to make some money. That's all I try to do. I try to make some money. I beat McGregor, and now I beat this YouTube kid, and it's gonna be amazing, man. Of course, what I do, a lot of boxers as well. I like to do Chris Eubank, and my son, Chris Jr., not particularly living up to the standard of what I was as a boxer, but he's okay. He's getting there. And of course, your gym it's near enough to where Steve Collins is from. Am I correct in that? Correct. Because I remember Eamon Dunphy. I remember saying that Steve Collins was from Castleknock to Eamon Dunphy.
And Eamon Dunphy replied to me. He said, it's not Castleknock, it's Blanchardstown. Am I right in saying that?
You're right.
Yeah, he said Steve Collins is from Blanchardstown, baby.
Yeah.
So,
you got it.
Yeah. and I believe Castleknock is dear enough to the constituency of the Taoiseach incoming Taoiseach in the next, year and a half? County down. Yeah. So that should be very interesting.
And as well, have to do a bit of Katie Taylor, of course, as well. Yeah, obviously a big win there a couple of weeks ago, and more wins to come. And I was on the Late Late Show, and that was fantastic. So yeah, it's just been really great.
That's quality. I love Katie Taylor.
Man, I do Eddie Murphy. Man, we ain't gonna do that.
That's because watching all them films.
Yeah.
He was a big Eddie Murphy fan when I was growing up.
Oh, he was great, man.
Brilliant.
He was great. He was the big thing back in the day.
Yeah, I loved Trading Places, 48 Hours.
Yeah.
Obviously Beverly Hills Cop. I watched them on repeat. Like
his stand up is very, very dated.
Yeah.
Unbelievably dated. I watched it back maybe 2 years ago, and I was like, oh God. Oh my God.
I know, it's crazy.
This is
Raw and Delirious.
Yeah.
I watched Raw.
Because I heard
at the start of lockdown, actually, I watched it.
Dave Chappelle was on Joe Rogan, and Dave Chappelle has a very close relationship with Eddie Murphy. Yeah. And he says, I think he's a little bit embarrassed by why he's very kind of he's not really, he's not interested in going back into doing stand-up comedy, and I think the reason why is because some of the comedy that he did in those two specials, he's a bit embarrassed by.
Really?
Yeah, which is strange.
Yeah, because
everybody speculated for years: is he going to come back or not?
Yeah,
It's
strange though. It's just like, look, you watch them two shows and it was crazy,
Crazy, yeah. The James Brown impression was great, though.
I thought he's very good at impressions.
His impressions were brilliant. When he did the James Brown impression, I think it was something like James Brown, the way he talks on stage.
But it's like,
Is that a hey?
but like you were saying that about his impressions and how he moves and all. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to you. It's like you did Chris Eubank there, and all of a sudden the jaw just changes. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the jaw, the facial expressions, the eyebrows.
Well, Jim Carrey would have been an influence as well. You forget Jim Carrey was a master impressionist.
Oh yeah.
You know, facial impressions. You know, the expressions that he would do on stage were just amazing.
Unbelievable. I loved Robin Williams as well.
Oh my God, genius!
Unbelievable.
An absolute genius. I was watching the Friends reunion last week, and I was kind of like, oh, why didn't they mention the cameo from Robin Williams?
Yeah.
Because it was Robin Williams and Billy Crystal. What I thought was just so brilliant about that scene was it just didn't tie in at all to the plot of the episode.
Yeah.
He was randomly on the studio backlot, and they just called him in and said, look, do you want to be in this scene? And he just riffed it. Him and Billy Crystal just riffed it for whatever, a minute and a half. You know, that was the genius of Robin Williams. You could put him into any situation and he'd turn it into gold.
I was even watching, like, we're talking about we have kids. Me kids asked could they watch Jumanji last week. Now, I mean, I actually watched like half it years ago. But I've watched it now, must be 15 times in the last week. Because you know what kids are like, they literally just want to watch it. But I was looking at him, and it was a different type of film to what you'd see him in, like Mr. Doubtfire or whatever. And I was saying to myself, he could do anything, like
anything.
Really
He could really kind of he could really downplay his roles.
Yeah.
With regards to like his demeanor, Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
You know, I think he won an Oscar for that. And he was a really reserved character, and he was just absolutely outstanding. You know, he was a genius. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, phenomenal. Well, listen, before you go, I want to wish you best of luck in the future, and best of luck with the wedding.
Thank you, Jer.
In the nearer future, best of luck with your challenge from Conor McGregor in your charity boxing fight. But like I said to you, he challenged Mayweather, and now he's at the challenging you. So. You might get that knockout as well.
Hopefully.
Last thing, give me a message for Conor McGregor.
As Conor McGregor,
you might as well.
Well, listen, I said in the video, do you know what I mean? He said a couple of years ago, sure, I wouldn't want to fight me, and it's happening now. Do you know what I mean? So that's what you've done, Conor. So I'll see. I look forward to the challenge. So. 100%. There'll be a new Conor McGregor in town.
I love the laugh. I do. Tell me, can you just plug that though? Can you tell me the event? When is it on, and what can people do to support it?
We haven't got an official date yet. There was a few issues with the date.
Okay.
Because I was booked to do something on the original date, but I think we're looking at early September.
Okay.
I think the first or second week in September.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, look, we'll plug it as well, and we'll make sure to get it out there. And honestly, best of luck with everything. And I do mean I am a big fan. I have been from the very start.
Thank you, Jared.
I was delighted. I was trying not to tell everybody about you coming here today, and I was like, I'll wait till it's over, and then I can tell people I actually came in and I had a chat with them.
My pleasure, man. Honestly, thanks so much for having me.
I was very excited. I really appreciate it.
It's a great set of lovely gym you got here as well.
Oh, thank you. We're at the putting a few new bits in for the members now, and obviously the sanitisation and stuff like that. But all the new equipment, I'm excited to see what they think of it as well. But I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's great. You're back in business, pal. And that's the great thing.
Oh, look, we get there. We get there. Thank you, Al. I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Okay, guys, well, there you have it. That was Mr. Al Foran. Like I said in the intro, not just a comedian, an impressionist, a podcaster, an all-round good guy. Again, thank you very much, Al, for coming on and being my guest this week. It was an honour to have you here today. Guys, remember, if you're enjoying the podcast, share it on social media, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify and iTunes, and please tell your friends and family. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week.
This is the Jer Conroy Fitness Podcast. For more, see jerconroy.ie.